Good afternoon, I'm Rob Boskamp, and you're listening to South Texas Midday. Happy Friday, it's October 24th. Nueces County officials have confirmed the detection of West Nile virus in a mosquito pool collected near Chapman Ranch, marking the first positive mosquito sample reported in the county since last year. A county news release from Judge Connie Scott and City Public Works stated that county vector control crews are spraying daily in the affected areas, which are outside of Corpus Christi city limits. They will continue to monitor mosquito pools for additional signs of the virus. Yesterday, the city of Corpus Christi announced the launch of a multi-platform outreach and communication campaign for water projects. The campaign keeps residents informed about water infrastructure progress and promote the city's water security strategy. The campaign was announced on the heels of Corpus Christi advancing $171 million in multiple water security initiatives approved by City Council. The $169 million Evangeline groundwater project will secure groundwater rights to over 22,000 acres in San Patricio County and is expected to deliver 20 million gallons per day by late next year. The city has also established a $2.7 million partnership with the Nueces River Authority to reserve up to 50 MGD from the proposed Harbor Island seawater desalination plant. Nueces County leaders are considering adding another tax increment reinvestment zone, and a proposed policy could change how development is funded. County commissioners voted earlier this week to keep TIRZ 3 in place. Commissioner John Matas told KIII News any policy changes made by the county will take effect after 2028. Precinct 1 Commissioner Mike Pusley said property taxes are the county's only source of revenue, and with legislature capping tax increases, it's draining for county government.
We get about $1.5 million off of personal property taxes every year, and that's it. And the legislature is on a mission to cut property taxes wherever they can, and it hits us really hard.
That was Commissioner Pusley speaking at a recent commissioners meeting. Nueces County commissioners said they have to work with local businesses and limited funds to make the situation work.
Forward on TIRZ when I can't get a tax increase to give my employees benefits and their pay scale, and I've got every department in here complaining, saying they can't keep people. There's a balance for us, and there's an obligation and a responsibility, but we have to take care of county responsibilities first.
That was County Judge Connie Scott speaking about the possible policy changes. Several pieces of public art in Corpus Christi are slated for removal following a statewide directive from Governor Abbott ordering cities to eliminate non-standard roadway markings. KIII News reports that a City of Corpus Christi Public Works memo issued yesterday states that failure to comply could result in the suspension of TxDOT agreements or the loss of state and federal road funding. The city was given 30 days to remove or modify all non-compliant markings. Public Works officials identified the following locations for removal, which include crosswalks at Twig Street and Shoreline Boulevard, the 6 Points intersection, and the Peoples Street T-head, as well as 25 traffic signal cabinets painted along Mesquite, Chaparral, and Water Streets downtown, as well as Yorktown Boulevard. Cameron County Drainage District officials are hoping to restore the county's main channel banks after landing a $13.2 million grant that is aimed at bolstering collapsing banks which are closing parts of the canal. The Valley Morning Star reports that officials are targeting a 1,400-foot stretch near Searcy Road and FM 1420 and are planning to install steel sheet pilings along the channel sides to continue sloughing while recompacting the banks standing about 12 feet high. Drainage District Board President Steve Jennings said officials are planning to request construction proposals once the government shutdown ends, and added that the work's projected to be completed within about 220 days. Last month, the U.S. Agriculture Department's Natural Resource Conservation Service gave Cameron County Drainage District Number 5 a $13.2 million grant to help officials shore up parts of the North Main drain's banks after floodwaters dramatically eroded stretches of the channel. The late March storm dumped about 22 inches of rain in the Harlingen area and spurred the channel's most extensive damage. The grant requires the drainage district pitch in 25% of the project's cost. In state news, Texas' top agriculture official, a longtime ally of President Trump, is pushing back against him this week. At issue is where America gets its beef. The Texas Newsroom's Lucio Vasquez reports.
The Trump administration wants to quadruple beef imports from Argentina in an effort to bring down grocery store prices. But that plan isn't sitting well with U.S. cattle ranchers. Texas Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller, a longtime Trump supporter, says he sent some alternative ideas to the White House. He says the real problem is a shortage of cattle here in the U.S.
We're at a 50-year low. lowest number of cattle we've had on record since we started keeping records.
This week, the Trump administration announced it would allow ranchers to use portions of federal land for grazing purposes. The National Cattlemen's Beef Association says Trump's plan to buy more Argentine beef could create more chaos for producers while doing little to help consumers. I'm Lucio Vasquez in Houston.
Border walls and new surveillance tech could be coming to the Big Bend region under the Trump administration's Smart Wall Plan. The plan calls for a mix of physical barriers and technology across the southern border. The administration is also waiving federal contracting regulations to speed up barrier and road building on the border across Texas and the Southwest. Lakin Jordahl is with the advocacy group Center for Biological Diversity, which has criticized the border security buildup.
It's the first time that they've signaled any tension or started taking actions that would allow them to build walls in Big Bend, which, for the longest time has just been a ridiculous idea. Like, even the Trump administration has never even entertained walling off any part of Big Bend.
A map of border projects published by U.S. Customs and Border Protection this month suggests that Big Bend National Park would be spared from physical barriers, but other parts of the region could see new barriers and roads. The Texas Education Agency is taking over the Fort Worth Independent School District. It will be the second largest state takeover in Texas history. Education Commissioner Mike Morath says the intervention follows years of poor student outcomes.
There's been very significant chronic problems with that district's central office ability to support its campuses and support teachers so that they can really unlock the potential of kids in our classroom.
Morath says he will appoint a new superintendent this spring as well as a board of governors to replace the elected school board. He'll also appoint a conservator to oversee the district's current leadership. And Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick is calling for the head of the trust that oversees the Alamo to resign. Texas Public Radio's Brian Kirkpatrick reports Patrick believes her doctoral dissertation is incompatible with how the history of the Alamo should be told.
2 years ago, Alamo Trust President and CEO Kate Rogers wrote in her dissertation she would love to see the Alamo become a beacon for historical reconciliation that brings people together versus tearing them apart. She also wrote that may not be politically possible at the time and have negative job consequences for her and for the Alamo. Many locals have pushed for an Alamo story about all of the peoples there before, during, and after the battle, but state leaders like Patrick, who grew up a fan of Disney's Davy Crockett, want the Alamo narrative to focus on the 1836 battle that helped win Texas independence for Mexico. I'm Brian Kirkpatrick in San Antonio.
The Student Success Center at Victoria College is nearing completion. Thanks to an anonymous donation, the building's $41 million funding is now complete. College President Dr. Jennifer Kent announced this week that an anonymous donation of $1.37 million completed the funding.
And we'll have a phased-in approach over departments that'll be moving in one by one while we are putting the finishing touches, making sure the paint is just perfect and that all the trim is in its place to make sure that when students come into the building in the spring semester, it is perfect for them and for the next 100 years.
That was Kent speaking to 25 News Now. The college will receive the keys to the building next month, though an official opening date has not yet been announced. The first legal day for commercial oyster harvesting will be Monday, November 3rd. 2 days prior, Texas Parks and Wildlife Department will open several bays to commercial and recreational oyster harvest beginning at 12:01 a.m. on November 1st. Opening these Texas areas will provide more fishing opportunities and better distribute the fleet when the 2025-26 season begins. After evaluating preseason oyster samples, 2 areas open met the threshold, and 5 additional Texas areas were identified that contained reefs with an abundance of market oysters. TPWD will continue monitoring all harvest areas and will open or close areas based on when respective thresholds are met. Specific shellfish harvesting areas opening beginning November 1st include Matagorda Bay's areas Texas 13, 19, 20, and 21. In Aransas Bay, Texas 29 and Texas 30 will be open. In Corpus Christi Bay, Texas 33, and in Lower Laguna Madre, Texas 34 will be open. And in sports this weekend, the Corpus Christi Ice Rays host the Shreveport Mudbugs tonight and tomorrow at the Hilliard Center. Texas A&M Victoria men's and women's soccer teams will host Our Lady of the Lake in Red River Athletic Conference play tomorrow afternoon. Big homecoming weekend in college football. UTRGV takes on University of Incarnate Word in Southland Conference action tomorrow night. The Vaqueros are currently 1-2 in conference play, and Texas A&M Kingsville will be with Western Oregon University, and that game will be part of the Lone Star conference action this weekend. That game is tomorrow night. And that is the latest news and information on South Texas Midday. I'm Rob Boskamp. Your community arts calendar and more is on the way.